How many people know that on the morning of 9/11, a lady looked out of her apartment in New Jersey, looking over to the burning tower, the first one, and saw 5 Middle Eastern looking men filming it, high-fiving and cheering? She took them to be Arabic. She called the police. The police eventually tracked them down. They had traveling around in a white van. They were Israelis. They became known as the Dancing Israelis. They were arrested and kept in custody for 71 days until the ultra-Zionist head of the criminal division of the Justice Department, Michael Chertoff, released them. And how many people know that the same Michael Chertoff released the 200 arrested in the spy ring? And they went back to Israel. These 5 dancing Israelis, 2 of which were known by the police to be Mossad agents, said that they were there to document the event. Well, hold on, how did you know it was going to happen?
One day, the Federal Reserve will cease to exist, and federal income tax will be unconstitutional once again. Not because of conspiracy, but because these systems were never built on the consent of the governed. And what is built without the people eventually falls by them. In 1913, while Americans were distracted by the holidays, 2 quiet decisions rewrote the American Republic. The 16th Amendment gave Washington the power to tax your income, and the Federal Reserve Act gave a private banking cartel control over your money. Neither have the consent of the people, and both redefine the relationship between citizen and state. Before 1913, a federal income tax was unconstitutional by design. The founders understood that when government can tax your labor directly, it can control your life. That protection, written into the Constitution, was torn away. And the Federal Reserve, born in secret, at Jekyll Island, drafted by bankers, passed in the dark, a private institution cloaked in public power, beyond elections, beyond accountability. Economist Milton Friedman said it best, "No institution in the U.S. has such a high public standing and such poor record of performance." Let's review that record. The Fed doubled prices during World War I, helped spark the recession of 1929, then turned it into the Great Depression. It fueled the inflation of the 1970s, and in recent decades, it printed trillions to inflate Wall Street while draining Main Street. You didn't vote for this. You never gave your consent. This isn't what the founders envisioned. And it is not what the future demands.
Well, I have long been in favor of abolishing it. I think there is no institution in the United States that has such a high public standing and such a poor record of performance. On the whole, it has a very poor record. It's done far more harm than good.
My friends, we are all anonymous. And with the 250th anniversary of our republic upon us, it is time we, the people, restore what was promised in 1776.
If you play this frequency out loud, don't be surprised if gravity forgets how to work. Tartarian robotics were not engineered. They were acoustically instantiated through harmonic field imprinting. their chassis formed at resonance nodes generated by the Jerukim frequency matrix, frequency patterns that collapsed inertial frames into programmable matter. They contained no CPUs. Instead, crystalline harmonics acted as multidimensional storage lattices, storing intention in vibratory phase differentials. Control was achieved via neuroacoustic entrainment. The chronophonic Aeolian modulator created standing sound waves that induced state-specific behaviors, not through input but vibratory identity. Each joint, each limb, each mechanism was an antenna, tuned to frequencies emitted from the enkionic array, which interfaced directly with quantum neurosomatic signatures. Their movement was not mechanical. It was quantum vibrational convergence, collapsing possibility space into precise kinetic sequences through wave field modulation. Energy wasn't stored. It was summoned acoustically from zero-point fluctuation arrays embedded beneath Tartarian grid structures. They didn't respond to sound. They were sound, shaped into matter, executing will through resonance. Warning: the chronophonic modulator changes your internal geometry if you're ready. This is not music. This is encoded resurrection data from a civilization that never died.
The real problem that they have, as Kissinger says, is there are just too many people on the planet. And 40% of the world, 2 billion of us, exist on less than $2 a day. The summary of the Global 2000 report I put up on my website, nohopes.com, but if you look at it, it makes sense to get rid of people. So what they said, they're going to make godlike decisions on who lives and who dies. Now, obviously, some of the meetings we sat on, we were planning on using neutron bombs on the major cities. Today, they figure that biologicals are much cheaper. They're still planning on, the plan is to get a war started in the Middle East, and they're still planning on using a neutron bomb, or one of the bombs that they've got developed on Israel, and that's to begin World War III, which is all in the cards. And it's going to happen. They even put a monument up to this whole program. It's called the Georgia Guidestones. It's just to get the thing going in the Middle East, and it's not going fast enough. I mean, Carter put this thing in, so we have the Plan 2000, with the war starting in the year 2000 in the Middle East.
Right.
Reduce the population of the planet down to 500 million, have one world currency under the Homeland Security, or FEMA if you want to call it. They're going to declare an emergency, which are going to shut down everything.